Welcome back to the Michigan Dynasty, everybody. I hope you all had a very good Christmas, and you also have the New Year's coming up, and I hope you guys are excited for 2026. It's going to be a big year for all of us as we are into the final couple of games of 2026. We're 8-2, facing a really bad Rutgers team who has not won a Big Ten game all season long, so it kind of seems like this is going to be an easy win for us. But when you're playing on the road against a team that has nothing to lose with Big Ten caliber, players, anything can happen. But we do have a huge matchup next game against Ohio State in Columbus at the Horseshoe. They had a rough season. They're 22nd ranked in the nation right now, but at 6-4, it has been a disappointment in Columbus. And it all started with a heartbreaking upset against Ball State in which they lost 45-34. They did beat Texas, however, on the road the very next week in a complete shocker, but then would lose their first two conference games against Oregon and number 1 USC, and then would later lose to Nebraska. But they've now won 3 straight games against Illinois, Iowa, and Northwestern. They play 5-5 Indiana next, and then they have a date with us in the game. And it really feels like for the second consecutive season, it's going to come down to this game here for Michigan. In real life, this past season right here, you win that game and you're in the college football playoffs. It's kind of the same thing here. You win this game and you're probably going to the Big Ten championship game, and then you're more than likely going to the college football playoff regardless of what happens in that conference championship game. So it's a huge episode. With a loss, I'm not very sure that we're going to be able to make it to the college football playoff. The huge story, of course, coming into this season was our three-headed monster in the backfield with Ahmad Hardy, Isaac Brown, and Jordan Marshall. All three of them have gotten over 50 carries, and if you include Bryce Underwood, you have an electric backfield as far as running the football goes. Jordan Marshall has been the touchdown machine with 8 touchdowns on 57 of his carries, and then Isaac Brown has 8 touchdowns, and Ahmad Hardy with 4 touchdowns. I kind of view Ahmad Hardy as the guy who gets us down the field. Isaac Brown can break those 20 to 30 yard runs, and then once we get inside the 10-yard line, Jordan Marshall is the guy that's getting the ball. In the receiving category, Andrew Marsh looks like he's potentially going to transfer at the end of this season with his pro potential deal breaker. We need that to be an A-. It currently sits at a B, so it's not very likely we'll be able to bring him back if he decides to enter the transfer portal. Tommy McIntosh, the senior receiver from DeWitt, Michigan, has had a pretty solid season overall for us with 391 yards receiving and a touchdown on 28 receptions. Dorian Fleming, only 248 yards for him, 4 touchdowns, however, so he's been efficient when he gets the ball, but overall, the passing game has been our weakest point of the offense this season, and that's kind of what it's been like for Michigan for a long while. The passing game has never really developed, and I think part of getting into the offseason in a couple of episodes is going to be finding out who our offensive coordinator is going to be aside from Chip Lindsey and what direction we can take this offense into. I want to be more balanced. I want to be able to pass the ball, and I want to be able to rely on Bryce Underwood or whoever our future quarterback may be to win us games by throwing the ball 30, maybe even 40 times. Because as it stands right now, we are the worst passing offense in the Big Ten. And as far as running the football goes, we're only the 4th best. So if you're the worst passing, you'd expect the running to probably be 1 or 2. It just hasn't been the case for us. The 3rd worst offense in the Big Ten, but our defense has been where we've made our money this year with us only allowing 249 yards per game. It is one of the best defenses in the nation, and it is the best defense in the nation by a long shot. I think a lot of that has to do with the quarter length. Currently sitting at 7-minute quarters. We started the Dynasty out with 6-minute quarters. That's something that I'm thinking about changing going into our next season. Maybe I make this 8-minute quarter length, or maybe I even go to 12-minute quarter length and I turn the accelerated clock on. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to do. I am listening to your guys' feedback as I'm looking to make this series the best that I possibly can. As far as recruiting goes, we do have the number 1 class in the nation with 17 commitments, 5 5-stars coming to Ann Arbor next season. And we're pretty much done with recruiting at this point. We're going after 5 more guys, and Jared Wenton is the only one that I think we could potentially lose out on, as Notre Dame is making a late push here. But if we can take this to the offseason, I think that we'll be able to bring him in. But it's likely that this battle is done before we even get to that point. We're going after a couple of 3-star guards, a 3-star quarterback, and a 4-star running back in Bryce Keaton. And that would round out our high school class. That way we don't have a big enough class to the point where we're unable to bring anybody in through the transfer portal. The opponent today for the first game of this episode is going to be Rutgers. We talked about them. They're 1-9. They have not won a Big Ten game at all this season. And they have a 66 overall roster with a true freshman quarterback, Brock Mustard, playing for them. He's only a 71 overall, 78 speed. His throw power is extremely low. I mean, this is like high school ratings right here. At running back, they do have a pretty good player in Gavin Garcia, an 86 overall senior running back. And behind him, they have Ja'Shawn Benjamin, who's another senior with a little bit more speed than Garcia. At receiver, they have KJ Duff, who is one of the highest overall players on this roster. And then DeAndre Johnson is their second receiver to look out for. At left tackle, it's a weak position. Chris Vigna is a 63 overall tackle. Kenny Jones is a 67 overall left guard. Look at the depth they have behind him. Zach Zelenskas is one of their better offensive linemen, a 78 overall center. Nick Oliveira is a 74 overall guard. And then Raynor Andrews, a 73 overall right tackle. This is one of the worst offensive lines that I've seen. I would go out on a limb and say that the MAC probably has better offensive lines than this right here. Defensively, it's a Big Ten caliber defense, I guess. The front seven is atrocious, so probably not. This is more so like an American level defense here. But they do have Michael Clayton, a redshirt freshman corner who looks like a really, really good athlete. 83 overall, 96 speed. He's got 80 play rec with 82 man and 79 zone. The guy they got behind him, Dante Lovett, is also a pretty good corner as well. So throwing the ball on these guys may be a little difficult. Their secondary is the strongest position group on this entire roster. And then their edge rushers are pretty decent. Their linebackers are nothing to write home about. This should be an easy win. And I feel like at this point I've talked about this roster way longer than I should have. Some people who don't know any better might say that this might be a trap game. We're playing on the road against a hungry Rutgers team the week before we take on the Ohio State Buckeyes in a rematch in which we desperately want to win on the road. But, smart people would not say something like that because this is what I view as a tune-up game. Get the offense looking right. Get Bryce Underwood some opportunities to throw the ball. Allow the defense to do their thing. And get ready for the showdown next week in Columbus. This is not a game that I view as a trap game. This is a tune-up game, 100%. As we're going to see the defense early, as Rutgers is faced with a 3rd and 7 from the 42-yard line of Michigan. This is the best defense in college football, as Xavier Smith is back and healthy for the Michigan Wolverines today. Mason Curtis will play out there at safety at times in this game, as this one is thrown underneath, and that's going to bring up 4th down. Shamari Earls, the All-American caliber season that he's had, could allow him to jump up to a big-time rating next season as they attempt a long field goal upcoming, a 56-yarder, and it is no good. It is wide left. Last week, Dorian Fleming had 2 touchdowns on 3 receptions. He's not really been that great for us this season, but he has made the most of his opportunities as we are into Rutgers territory at the 28-yard line and a 3rd and 3 upcoming for Michigan. Isaac Brown is the running back to the left of Bryce Underwood, as that is Amarion Stewart in motion. Speaking of Dorian Fleming, he's got the reception inside the 20-yard line to the 18. A pickup of 10 on 3rd down, as that will move Michigan into the red zone, and Ahmad Hardy checks in at running back. From the 18-yard line, here's the give to Hardy, as he is stuffed up the middle, breaks the tackle. Ahmad Hardy's going backwards, back to the 22-yard line. It was nearly an excellent play for Ahmad Hardy. After the negative run from Hardy, Isaac Brown will check in, 2nd and 14, as Underwood will throw this one out to Andrew Marsh. He's got the sidelines. Andrew Marsh, a pickup of 13, and inside the 10-yard line he goes, as it is Ahmad Hardy coming back into the game on 3rd down and 1. Here is the give to Hardy. Up the middle, Ahmad Hardy's going to score. Touchdown, Michigan. The mountain is calling. All right, another look at our defense here. 3rd down and 6 upcoming for Rutgers. And Mustard, the quarterback, in the pocket is going to throw this one to the outside, and he's well shy of the marker. It's Shamari Earls again making a play on third down. I'm telling you, he's going to be an excellent corner for us next season, and he may even declare early at the end of next season. With the way that he's playing, he's looked like one of the best corners in the nation. As we take over here, second quarter now, at the 47 of Rutgers, 3rd down and 6. As Marshall checks into the game, and Zach Marshall's going to get the reception, and he's going to fight for a first down. He's a couple of yards shy. And in this situation, you got to think you're going for it here. Chip Lindsey said, you know, we want to punt, but head coach Jack Angelo said, no, we're going for it. And Chip Lindsey still wants to try and punt here, but Jack Angelo said, no, we're going for it. And we're going to call a timeout because we don't have the right personnel on the field. So a sloppy little series here on 4th and 1. We want to make sure we have the personnel out there to pick this first down up. All right, 4th and inches now. Andrew Marsh out to the right. It's an I formation here. From the 41 of Rutgers, here's Jordan Marshall up the middle. He's got the first down. And I think he ran right into the defensive tackle there. If not, he probably had a lot of room to run. So 1st and goal now at the 7-yard line. Isaac Brown checks in for Michigan. The sun is in our face here, so you got to make sure that you see where you're throwing if you're Bryce Underwood. He's going to roll out of the pocket. Underwood will just walk in. High stepping. It's a touchdown for Michigan. Watch out, cameraman. Michigan takes a 14-0 lead here on the road. I told you this is not a trap game. 3rd down and 3 now inside the Rutgers 20-yard line. Looking for some more points as Underwood's going to be sacked back at the 23. Deshaun Felix with the sack for the Scarlet Knights. And we're going to send out our freshman kicker, Chad Dennis, to attempt a 40-yard field goal. With 11-mile-per-hour wind, Dennis's kick is up, and it's good. It sneaks past the upright. I'm telling you, when you're kicking on the road, the kick meter just, it's not accurate. For some reason, I guess that the college football video game has decided that this is going to be a way to make it harder to kick on the road by not making the kick meter accurate, but I just think it makes it stupid. But we have the ball at the 27-yard line here, looking to get some points before the end of the half. As Underwood hits, he throws, and it's nearly intercepted. And I got something I should mention here. Michigan is expected to hire Kyle Whittingham as the next head coach. And a crazy turn of events, you know. It kind of felt like there's a couple of guys you're going after. You got Kenny Dillingham was a, hot conversation early. And then Kalen DeBoer. And then maybe you're thinking Jed Fish. And there's a lot of guys you're thinking about here. But Kyle Whittingham is the guy that Michigan has went after here as we are around Christmas. He's going to be the next head coach for Michigan. And I think a lot of people are going to have something to say about his age. But he's only 2 years older than Curt Cignetti, who's arguably the best coach in college football. So I think Kyle Whittingham is a great fit for Michigan. He coaches very competitive, very good teams, very disciplined teams. He's been at Utah for 21 years. He has an excellent win-to-loss ratio at a place that he's not going to have. At Utah, he didn't have the resources that he's going to have at Michigan. I think that he's going to be the perfect fit in Ann Arbor. Now, whether he's the coach there for 5 years or maybe 10 more years until he's into his 70s, whether that's the case or not, he is somebody that I think is going to change the trajectory of this program. You can move on from that Sharon Moore era with one of the best coaches in the business, Urban Meyer, Joel Klatt. These guys have nothing but good things to say about Kyle Whittingham. And that's my little soapbox, and I'm going to hop off of it now because I don't want to bore you guys or people that aren't interested in Michigan football. I don't want you guys to, kind of get upset here as Dorian Fleming's going to pick up a first down, and we'll go hurry up here. I do realize that some of the people that watch this series aren't Michigan fans, so I don't want to just only talk about Michigan football when I'm doing these videos, as Andrew Marsh has got this reception to the 45-yard line of Rutgers, under 30 seconds to go. So 1st down and 10, we go 5 wide here, as Andrew Marsh is open underneath again. Andrew Marsh fighting for a first down, and we're going to use our final timeout here. The amount of time it would have taken us to get up to the line, it would have just not really been possible to get many more plays off. But here with 22 seconds to go, I think we have enough time for a couple of shots here. And even picking up a first down, we can get to the line and spike it. Here is Underwood. Can't take a sack, though. Underwood's going to scramble. Bryce Underwood breaking tackles all the way to the 17-yard line. And this is what I mean. You can get up to the line, spike it, and still get maybe 1 or 2 plays off to the end zone here as the clock is beginning to run. 14 seconds. Underwood spikes it with 13 seconds. And I certainly think you have a couple of shots to the end zone here. Here comes Dorian Fleming in motion here from the 17-yard line. Zach Marshall. Touchdown, Michigan. What a pass from Bryce Underwood. I wanted Marshall to make that more of a, I don't know, that was a skinny post, and he never really came across the field as what I wanted him to do. And when Underwood still threw that, Marshall was still getting vertical, so he never even really ran a post. It was more of just a seam route, but an excellent pass and an excellent catch by Zach Marshall, and it's a 24-0 lead as we take possession at the 17 of Rutgers, as the sun has officially gone down here in New Jersey. It's a play action. Marshall's open again, but I think Underwood wants to take it himself. Touchdown, Wolverines. They extend their lead, and at this point in the game, I think this is a perfect opportunity to take out Bryce Underwood, ensure that nobody gets hurt, and I don't even have a chance to play here. Rutgers going for it on 4th down. I like that we have Mason Curtis and Xavier Smith out on the field. I think they both need to be out on the field. Somebody had mentioned in a comment a while ago how Mason Curtis has to be on the field with the size-speed combo that he has. That should have been an interception. But the speed-size combo that Mason Curtis has, he needs to be on the field. He's a dynamic playmaker, and I agree 100%. And that definitely should have been an interception for Cole Sullivan. 2nd and 5. Now here's Isaac Brown on the carry. I talked about those 20-yard touchdown runs. He is going to be stuffed there. Only 5 carries for Isaac Brown in this game so far. As Ahmad Hardy checks into the game now. He has been somebody to really keep an eye on this season as far as wear and tear. Throughout these games, he gets injured, and he's going to fight his way down to the 1-yard line, but it's going to be coming back as Andrew Babalola is going to get called for a hold. But Ahmad Hardy will check in to begin the game, and he will dominate. And then what ends up happening is the wear and tear becomes an issue, and he really can't go in the second half of these games. So that backs us up 1st and 20 now. David Ahanotu into the game now for Michigan, as he will get the give, and he's taken down for a 2-yard loss. On this play right here, if they go man-to-man, I'm looking to go to Dorian Fleming. He didn't really cook his man the way I wanted to. How about Andrew Marsh, though? He's outrunning everybody. And it's 295 yards passing for Bryce Underwood. One of the better games he's had this season. And here on 3rd down and 8, we'll have an opportunity to potentially go over 300 for what feels like only the first time this season. We're going to Andrew Marsh. That's not the guy we should have gone to. I was staring him down the entire time. I didn't even check to see if Marion Stewart was open there. But here's what I mean. You kind of have to move the kick meter like farther than you think you would need to. We'll see how this turns out. And I guess I moved it too far. Chad Dennis field goal, no good. And I just made our freshman kicker look terrible, even though he's had an excellent season this year. It's whatever. 4th and 10 here for Rutgers. They're going for it again. Can we get an interception here? What a catch by Rutgers. Jair Hill looked like he had hands on it for a second. And they're going to go for an onside kick here. They do score a couple of touchdowns late. And again, it's just not letting me select anything. When it comes to an onside kick in a big-time moment in this series, we're going to get screwed over because the game is refusing to let me choose onside recovery. Zach Marshall, thankfully, comes up and makes the play. But just what a flaw. And I don't know if it's because I'm using a custom playbook or what the case is, but it's just been... Man, that's a huge bug right there. 3rd down and inches. Bryce Underwood's still in the game. We're going to try and scramble here and throw this one off to Zach Marshall. And that was just a terrible pass. I'm trying to get you 300 yards, Underwood. That's not going to happen here. It's a victory for Michigan. And now everybody knows what's next on the schedule. It's the game in Columbus into a hostile environment. Bryce Underwood, 295 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns, 72% completion percentage. He was that close to having a 300-yard game passing, and we just couldn't get him there. It's like Michigan quarterbacks cannot throw for 300 yards. It's like when you put 2 magnets together on opposite sides of each other, when you have, negative on negative or negative on positive, however it works. I'm not a scientist. And they kind of don't want to go together. That's how Michigan quarterbacks are when it comes to 300-yard passing games. They don't fit. The offense, however, did look really good with 464 yards of total offense. One of our better games this season. And this really makes me feel like Rutgers shouldn't be in the Big Ten anymore. It's probably time for them to drop down to the American potentially. As Underwood goes with 900. As Bryce Underwood has 295 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did have 2 rushing touchdowns in this game and was nearly our leading rusher. Ahmad Hardy, 12 carries, 56 yards. Jordan Marshall, 5 attempts, 34 yards. You know, people have said that Marshall needs to get more carries. We're going to figure it out. This season was kind of like a really weird situation where I'm testing out stuff that I didn't know how it was going to work out. You have 3 running backs in the backfield. They're all really good. How do you split carries between these guys? I think it's worked for the most part this season. Next year is going to be really kind of more clear on how our offense is going to look, because I would assume that probably both Ahmad Hardy and Isaac Brown go pro. With their overall ratings, I would assume that's probably what happens. So it's going to be pretty clear that Jordan Marshall's going to get his carries then as a senior. Andrew Marsh, 118 yards receiving and a touchdown. Zach Marshall also had a touchdown in this game. And then defensively, Justin Scott, Trey Pierce, and Jeff Fair, all defensive tackles, just dominated that terrible interior offensive line for Rutgers. And then Jair Hill did get an interception in this game. And then Dion Mangum, the true freshman middle linebacker, with a forced fumble. Bryce Underwood is your Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week with his 4 total touchdowns and 295 yards rushing. And I've said it, and I'll say it again. You don't even need to talk about what week this is right here. It's number 7 Michigan versus number 20 Ohio State. If Michigan wins, they're going to the college football playoff and more than likely going to the Big Ten championship game. If Ohio State loses, they are talking about playing in like a really bad bowl game. Jared Wenton, we're in a recruiting battle against Notre Dame here, so I think taking this to the offseason is going to help us out tremendously, because teams tend to forget about these high school guys in offseason recruiting, and they more so go after transfer guys. So Jared Wenton, I think, is somebody we should be able to bring in once we get to the offseason. But we have a couple more weeks before we get to that point. So we'll see how it all works out here, as we'll take a look at Ohio State's roster. This is not a terrible team at all. It's actually a really good team. There's guys on this roster who, you know, they've had for a long time, and that's Jeremiah Smith, 99 overall receiver. I mean, how do you have 4 losses when you can just throw the ball up to this guy and he'll make play after play? He has had a worse year, I guess, as far as the receptions go, but he's still got 1,100 yards receiving. He's actually averaging more yards per reception, has the same amount of touchdowns. Maybe the targets have just gone down a little bit for Jeremiah Smith, but I don't know how they've been so bad, because Julian Sand isn't hurt. He's a 94 overall. At running back, they have Anais Williams, who's an 89 overall. Bo Jackson is an 86 overall. These guys aren't hurt, by the way. Brandon Ennis, a 91 overall. Miles Graham is injured for them, but they have Quincy Porter, who's an 86 overall. They have Max Clare, who's a 93. On the offensive line, it's an extremely talented group. I guess their guards are not that great here. Or I guess Luke Montgomery's pretty good. It's Joshua Padilla and Gabe Van Sickle, who just really aren't that good. And then defensively, I realized that they lost a lot of talent from last year's team. But I mean, look at this guy. Rasheem Biles, 94 overall, is a really talented player. And in the secondary, Jermaine Matthews and Aaron Scott. Aaron Scott from where I'm from in Ohio, so that's pretty cool. Fahim Delane, a sophomore safety, and then Jalen McClain, a 90 overall strong safety. I don't know how this team's been so bad. I don't know how you lose to Ball State to begin your season. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But this is the game, and things happen in the game. USC is going to be in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship game. They're 11-0. We're also going to be going to Indianapolis with a victory. We do have the tiebreaker over UCLA and Penn State as it stands anyway. So even if we lose this game to Ohio State, we should still go to Indianapolis. We should be an automatic lock with a matchup versus USC after this game against Ohio State, which I will be playing after this game against Ohio State. One thing I wanted to look at here with the way the season is gone. 16 touchdown passes for Bryce Underwood, but I wanted to look at his game-by-game breakdown because at the end of that game against Rutgers, I started thinking, has he really not had a 300-yard game? And he hasn't. He's had 270 against Indiana, 283 against Oregon, and then 295 just now against Rutgers. So, yeah, it's just not been a season in which he's thrown for a lot of yards. And only one time this season has he thrown the ball 30 times, and that was a game against Minnesota where we won 34-7. So he really didn't need to throw the ball that many times. As far as running the ball, overall, to begin the season was kind of rough, but these last couple of weeks, since that Penn State game, we've really found a way to get him involved in the quarterback run game. Against Oregon, that was a rough game. 16 carries, 4 yards. I'm assuming he was sacked. He was 4 times in that game he was sacked. And then he was also sacked 4 times against Michigan State. You got to make sure that you're able to keep Bryce Underwood clean. Games that we have lost this year are games in which Bryce Underwood has been sacked. Here's a look at the college football playoff bracket. If the season were to end today, this is what it would look like. And a rematch against Oklahoma, and I would love to have that rematch against Oklahoma. We've lost to them now twice in back-to-back seasons. To be able to beat them when it mattered most would be super satisfying. We'll see how things play out, though, as we have a couple more games before we get to that game. And it begins with this one. It's the game in Columbus. We still will do play the moments for this game against Ohio State, but I do want to get the first couple of possessions in this game. I want to go through and look at all the graphics they show, get some things for some thumbnails, but also give you guys a little bit more gameplay than you normally would get. For a game of this magnitude, I think it's important that we don't just rush through it and finish it in 5 minutes. I think we should go through and pick and choose times in which I think you guys should see some more of the game. It's a blackout here in the shoe, as Ryan Day has also just dyed his beard black, fresh for this game. As Ohio State is too pumped, Ryan Day brings out the Buckeyes, and you got to imagine they'll be booing Michigan. A blackout for the last game of the season, and your team's not even wearing a black uniform. Just kind of weird. Ohio State at this point, if they win this game, I still don't think they have a chance to go into the college football playoffs. So this is all about just playing spoiler. And that's what Michigan tried to do in 2024, and they were successful. So that is what Ohio State's going to try and do for today's game. We can't allow them to do that. We need to win this game and punch our ticket to the college football playoff, as true freshman Corin Belser returns this from his own end zone to the 18-yard line. And Jack Angel has his guys prepared. It was a 45-34 loss in game last season. Of course, that wasn't the score in real life. But this is a huge game, a huge opportunity for Michigan to get revenge on Ohio State. And you love to get that kind of revenge and go into their house and do it. As Underwood keeps it on first down and picks up a couple of yards. Probably should have handed that one off to Isaac Brown. Stadium pulse is going to be an issue in this game. This is the third loudest stadium in the country, as Underwood steps up and he's got space to run. Underwood puts on a juke and slides down at the 38-yard line. What a run by Bryce Underwood, a gain of 18. After the first down by Bryce Underwood, it brings up another first down, and that is Isaac Brown taken down to the backfield by Robbie Graves. Michigan spreading it out here on second down. It's Isaac Brown up the middle. He had a hole and it closed quickly. Maybe could have been a little bit more patient there, as that's going to bring up third down and 7 at the 41-yard line. A huge moment early in this game for Michigan. Third down and 7. They're showing pressure. It's McIntosh taken down a couple of yards shy of the first down marker. And Michigan will punt. I think if this wasn't the game, you think about going for it here. You're on your own 44-yard line. You only have to pick up 4 yards. I think it's probably a smart call to punt the ball here, as Brandon Ennis fair catches at the 16-yard line, and Anais Williams takes over here in the backfield for Ohio State. It was, of course, Bo Jackson last year. They brought in the transfer Anais Williams. We'll see how he performs in this game. It is interesting that Bo Jackson isn't their guy here. To go after a guy in the transfer portal to take over that job just doesn't really make a lot of sense, as Quincy Porter's taken down in the backfield by Troy Bowles. They tried to get it out there on the bubble screen, was unsuccessful. And I like the way that Troy Bowles has played this season for us at linebacker. He's certainly taken that roll over from that Ernest Hausman spot, as there he's on the tackle. Anais Williams still picks up 8 yards, though. We're seeing a lot of Xavier Smith in there as that sub linebacker. So kind of interesting. Cole Sullivan will see the field a lot, but an interesting little wrinkle to this Michigan defense here. He is a really solid box safety, but I also think Cole Sullivan's a really good linebacker that probably should be on the field a little bit more than he is at the moment. Here's Anais Williams. They fake it to him as Max Clare picks up a couple of yards, but this one's going to be coming back. Pass interference on Ohio State. That is Shamari Earls out there in press coverage here against Jeremiah Smith. So we trust him enough to go out there on an island, and that's an excellent play by Cameron Brandt. It's going to be a heck of a battle out there with Shamari Earls and Jeremiah Smith. That'll bring up 2nd and 20 after no gain. First drive of the game for Ohio State. They fake it to Anais Williams and throw it underneath to Quincy Porter, who picks up 12 yards. 3rd and 8 upcoming for Ohio State. 3rd down and 8, Sayin in the pocket now. He gets out of the pocket. Sayin's going down. He's sacked by Justin Scott. The transfer defensive tackle gets back there, and he puts his name in the game. He just beat the guard. I mean, I talked about it before the game. That right guard is probably the weakest offensive lineman on this roster. And at this point, we will now go into a little bit of simulating into the play the moments. As we have a 3rd down and 2 here on our 2nd drive of the game. At the 23-yard line of Ohio State. Looking to score the first points in this one. As Isaac Brown's taken down in the backfield. And Andrew Babalola is shaken up on that play. As we'll send out our field goal kicker. It's Chad Dennis. No, it's not Chad Dennis. I think in this situation, you have to get points. And I'm going to make the call to go and try and get points here. I think that with this being a huge rivalry game, where I think both defenses are going to play a huge role, getting points is important. So here is a 42-yard attempt for Chad Dennis. As he lines this one up, and Dennis has it right down the middle. It's a 3-0 lead for Michigan. Like I said, I think it's important to take your points in that situation. I think by going for it there, you risk this game staying at a 0-0 score. And after a long run by Julian Sayin, 48 yards, Ohio State has moved into the red zone. Threatening early in the first quarter here. Bunch to the left of Sayin. Anais Williams is the running back to the left of him. As here is a throw underneath to Jeremiah Smith, and he's hit down hard at the 16-yard line. Both quarterbacks have been perfect so far in this game. We have not seen a pass hit the ground. And now Jeremiah Smith lined up in the slot. Here's Sayin on the read option, and he's taken down after a minimal pickup. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 6 for Ohio State. At the 14-yard line, man in motion is Brandon Ennis. Here is Julian Sayin in the pocket, throws, and it's intercepted by TJ Metcalf. He's going to take it out of the end zone, and Metcalf forces the turnover. And a huge defensive play for the Wolverines. I think Julian Sayin had a guy underneath there for a split second, but he looked him off and decided he wanted to go for a touchdown. And he threw that into double coverage, and TJ Metcalf gets the first takeaway in this game. You watch it again, Brandon Ennis was underneath, and it looked like he was open. Instead, he chose to go to Max Clare in the back of the end zone, and there were 2 guys there to make a play. And so now Michigan takes over at the 47-yard line. It's 3rd down and 4. Looking for a first down here. As this is really good coverage by Ohio State, but Tommy McIntosh reels that one in. That was excellent coverage by Ohio State, but at the end of the day, Bryce Underwood stood in the pocket and made the right play. 3rd down and 1. It's Marshall up the middle. He's a couple of yards shy of the first down. Now, here in this situation, it wants me to kick it, but I think this is where you would say this is an obvious go-for-it situation. I don't know how you could justify not going for it. 3-0 is a whole lot different than 6-0, in my opinion. 3-0 ensures that you get the first points on the board as Ahmad Hardy picks up the first down. 6-0 just keeps it a one-score game and doesn't even guarantee you'd have the lead if Ohio State scored. As now it's 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Michigan looking for a touchdown here. You don't want to kick another field goal as Underwood's going to throw this one underneath. It's Isaac Brown picking up a couple of yards. And that's Andrew Babalola again injured there. May need to keep an eye on him to ensure that he doesn't come away with a long-term injury by the end of this game. Ty Haywood's out there now at left tackle as Underwood is going to fake this one. He is rolling out. He's going to throw across body. It's a touchdown. It's Zach Marshall. Touchdown, Michigan. They extend their lead here against Ohio State in the second quarter. And that's a huge, huge drive for Michigan. After the interception in the end zone by TJ Metcalf, you go all the way down the field and extend your lead. And now I want to take a look at our defense here. Another situation I feel like we should see what the defense does. I think I talked about it. I don't want to just do a sim to play the moments the entire game. I want to take a look at our defense as well. I want to play in these big-time moments, and that's what we're doing right now. Here's Mason Curtis at safety. He'll be matched up on Max Clare here. Max Clare is a very dynamic tight end. They go 5 wide here on 1st and 10. As here is Sayin in the pocket. Throws across the middle, and it's caught by Brandon Ennis. And Julian Sayin is reaching at that left wrist. And he will come out of the game. He has started this one 6 for 7. He's been efficient. The Michigan defense has done an excellent job at limiting him. As here is a end around now. It's a sack instead. That's Xavier Smith, the safety, converted linebacker here in the second half of this season. I thought it was a handoff at first. Then I thought, no, that's an end around of Jeremiah Smith. Instead, the quarterback kept it the entire time, and Xavier Smith makes an excellent play. So after the sack, that's a 2nd and 18 upcoming for Ohio State. As this one thrown, and it's caught by Jeremiah Smith. A late hit in there by Xavier Smith. About took his head off. That's going to bring up a huge 3rd down here for Ohio State. If they don't convert here, that could spell trouble for them. They may have to go for it, then leave themselves vulnerable. Here is the handoff to Aeneas Williams. He's a couple of yards shy as we nearly got to the quarterback there. And they're going to attempt a long field goal. A 56-yarder upcoming here for Ohio State. Traditionally, they've not been that good in this category in the game. And so they're going to choose here to go for it. Julian Sayin still not in the game here. 4th down and 1. 2 tight ends in the game. They run it. Aeneas Williams isn't going to get it. Eno Etta with the huge play, and Ohio State is turned away. Michigan with the turnover on downs with an opportunity now to add to their lead here before the half. Here is Tommy McIntosh using his speed, picks up the first down to the 49-yard line. The Michigan defense is one of the best in the nation here, and bringing in guys like Justin Scott is the reason we've been able to do what we've done this year. As Underwood tries to get rid of it, and he does, that pass falls incomplete. So after the incomplete pass, that brings up 2nd and 10. Tommy McIntosh out of his reach, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. Bryce Underwood, 8 for 10, 82 yards passing in this game so far. And here's a 3rd down, and it's a huge 3rd down. Underwood throws, and it is broken up by Sanchez. And Michigan was going to have to punt here. You can't go for it in this situation. Into the 3rd quarter now. We have the ball at the 31-yard line of Ohio State. The score, 10-0. Ohio State has still been shut out in this one. It'll be interesting to see if Julian Sayin is healthy now. As Underwood's going to throw the screen out to Isaac Brown. He's got space, and Isaac Brown is going to walk in. Touchdown, Michigan. It's 17-0 here in Columbus. Ohio State just has no answers. Obviously our offense hasn't dominated in this game, but that was a poorly timed blitz. They brought 6, and Isaac Brown was out there wide open in the screen. And with it 17-0, entering the 4th quarter, Ohio State finally gets some points here. They just scored another touchdown. Why is this game not allowing me to hop in here and play the moments? We'll go back to play the key moments here. Let me play. Oh my gosh. What in the world just happened? We win 17-14. This game is atrocious. This game sucks. You're telling me it's the game. I'm going to apologize right now to everybody because it wouldn't let me in the game. Or, oh my gosh. We do win 17-14. The only thing I can think of is Ohio State was going on a drive, or we had just gotten the ball back. And I was trying to hit B to back out of it so that I could just play. And instead, it maybe popped up, do you want to jump in this situation? And when I hit B, that's the game's way of saying I didn't want to jump into that moment. And so I kept spamming B because I was trying to continue to get out of it so that I could play. When in reality, I was just spamming B and telling the game I didn't want to play. We do win 17-14, but I'm going to go out. I'm going to apologize to everybody who watches this series because that was a terrible way to end this game. And win or not, I think what's more important is getting good gameplay and making the series interesting. And by using play the moments, I just screwed that up. So I do apologize to everybody. That was atrocious. The offense went cold there in the second half. We scored in the third quarter to make it 17-0. But in the fourth quarter, we just did nothing with the ball. We only passed the ball 20 total times in this one. Ohio State had 1 turnover. We didn't have any. Yeah, I mean, they rolled with a freshman quarterback in this game after Julian Sayin left with an injury. And he played decently well. He just didn't complete many of his passes. His 52% completion percentage. And they also didn't run the ball. Anais Williams, 10 carries, 36 yards. And then Bo Jackson only got the ball 1 time. I mean, that's just coaching malpractice if you ask me. Quincy Porter was their leading receiver, and we shut down Jeremiah Smith in this game. Only 5 catches for 39 yards. For us, Bryce Underwood, 11 for 20 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ahmad Hardy with a pretty solid game, and then Jordan Marshall only gets 2 carries. I mean, yeah, we're just not getting him the ball enough. Isaac Brown was really good out of the backfield. He also had that long 31-yard touchdown. Andrew Marsh was shut down for pretty much the entire game, only 1 catch. Defensively, though, is where we dominated this game. As Justin Scott had 2 TFLs, Xavier Smith and Scott had sacks, and then the interception was TJ Metcalf in the end zone. And this is partly the reason that, you know, for my future Dynasty series, I just want to play every down of every game. And when College Football 27 comes out, that's what my plan is to do. With a live commentary, of course, I think it makes it a little bit more engaging, a little bit more exciting to do a live commentary. But when you're doing play the moments, bullcrap like that can happen. I thought that, you know, in the moment, I was sitting there thinking, the game's not letting me jump in and play. It's skipping all these moments. It's not even creating moments for me to click onto, and that's why I was trying to back out of it. In reality, that's not what I was doing. I was just skipping the moments, and I did not do that intentionally. I wanted this game to be a little different where I could play more than just the moments, and I can pick and choose when I want to insert myself. Pause. That sounded wrong. So I do apologize. I mean, that was a flop. And I hope that I didn't lose any of you guys after that one right there, as we still have a college football playoff run to worry about. And in that college football playoff, I want to hear from you guys. Do you want me to play the full game, or do you want me to do play the moments? Let me know in the comments. We do beat Ohio State. We do bring in Zach Singer from Detroit, Michigan. We've recruited so well out of Detroit. It's becoming a hot spot for us. We've brought in a lot of good talent. We're taking on Ohio State. I mean, we're taking on USC in the Big Ten championship game. They did lose to UCLA. So they're 5th ranked in the country. We are 7th. I can't imagine that a loss here is going to take us out of the college football playoff. I don't think there's any way that by losing this game, we would be eliminated from the college football playoff. I think that with a win or a loss, you're in. If they did it for Alabama in real life, they have to do it for Michigan in this situation, especially considering our 2 losses are against Oregon on the road and then Oklahoma, who is potentially going to be a college football playoff team as well. Yeah, and as it stands, if the season were to end today, we would be taking Oklahoma on in that first round matchup. So we'll see how things play out. As far as recruiting goes, Jared Wenton, no longer in first place for him. We are already hard selling, so there's nothing we can do. except for just hope that we can take this to the offseason. Damian Wingo, we should be able to bring him in. Same for Josh Yang, and now Bryce Keaton is getting looked at by Ohio State. So kind of same story with him, is if we can just take this to the offseason, I think we should be able to bring him in. You guys have no idea how frustrated I am with the way that freaking game went. Jared Winton's going to Notre Dame. It's just, I can't get it out of my mind. It's just making me so mad that I screwed up that situation and screwed up the most important game of the season. Like, this is a important game against Ohio State for a chance to go to the Big Ten Championship, and I just messed it all up. And I guess USC didn't actually lose to Notre Dame. UCLA. They lost to Notre Dame in a non-conference game. So I guess they don't play UCLA to finish their season anymore. Am I out of the loop on that one? They did play UCLA. They played them the second to last game. And then Notre Dame, they lost that one 35-30. And the Irish are now the number 1 team in the nation. How about this last 3-game stretch here? You got to play UCLA on the road. You do well. You win that game. And you had a game against Oregon at home. They beat Ohio State 24-6 earlier on in the season. And they also beat 9th-ranked Penn State 34-28 and Ole Miss 24-12. So USC's a tough team here. I'm pretty sure Jaden Maiava is still their quarterback, and I'm pretty sure that he's also a Heisman contender. So we're going to be playing against an excellent quarterback and an excellent team overall. Jaden Maiava, 34 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on the season with 4,000 yards passing. Bryson Washington is their leading rusher with Wayman Jordan. And then Brian Jackson. As long as they don't have King Jordan, we should be fine. Or my fault. As long as they don't have King Miller, we should be fine. I'm not sure who King Jordan is. Parker Kingston is their leading receiver, transfer from BYU, 1,100 yards receiving. Jacoby Lane had 1,000 yards. And then Romero Ison had 817 yards. I mean, this is one of the best passing offenses in the nation here. And then on defense, 16.5 sacks for their best edge rusher and 88 overall. Aside from that, though, they don't really generate that much pressure, and they've only forced 6 interceptions all season long. So we'll see how things play out here, though. With a win, we're certainly in the college football playoff. If we lose, I guess you open the door for potential, funny business, but I don't anticipate that happening. And since we're in this position right here in Conference Championship Week, I almost forgot, but it's nothing against Chip Lindsey and Wink Martindale, but if I was taking over Michigan as the new head coach, I would be moving on from both of them. Not in a bad way, but just I want to get my own staff in here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fire both coordinators, and we'll look to bring in some new guys once we hit the offseason. But here we go. It's Big Ten Championship time against USC. This is one of the best teams in the nation. And in this game right here, I'm not going to screw around with trying to jump in. I'm just going to play the moments. I don't want to screw something up and then get what we got against Ohio State. I want to hear your guys' feedback in the comments below on what you guys want to see in these bigger games, in these playoff games, in these Big Ten Championship games, big ranked games. We can deviate from play the moments, and instead I could just do play full game, and I could simulate play-by-play and then jump in where I see fit. So just let me know in the comments below what you guys want to see. Hopefully, we've got that all worked out now. The Michigan Wolverines are back in Indianapolis, taking on the USC Trojans. Like I said, as long as King Miller's not on this team, I think we should be fine in stopping their rushing attack. However, their quarterback, Jaden Maiava, is really good with Parker Kingston and Jacoby Lane, both over 1,000 yards receiving on the season. This is one of the best offenses in the country, and this is the best passing offense in the country. That pom-pom is floating. I'm floating out of my chair. I'm pumped up. The Blue Pants are back. It's time for the Big Ten Championship game. And to think that, you just had yourself a 9-3 regular season. You found out your coach was a professional gooner. And now you're here in this situation 1 year later. You got to be excited about that. And it'd be really cool to see if Kyle Whittingham could get Michigan there in real life. As the defense needs some help. Of course they do, because this USC offense is explosive as can be. Jaden Maiava, a star quarterback with 2 star receivers in this offense. They throw this one out to the tight end. Xavier Smith tries to take a good angle, picks up 6 yards. The Blue Pants are back. I told you, we'll rock them in big-time moments. As Jaden Maiava is putting his head down, he's shy. He nearly had the first down, but I think he was trying to cut back and make a play and ended up losing yards. So on 3rd down and inches here, Maiava is going to sneak it, and he's leveled, but it's a first down as Cole Sullivan got back there to lay the boom. Like the Costco guys. Deon Mangum's in the game now at linebacker. The true freshman getting us some serious playing time here as Maiava keeps it, and he is taken down by Shamari Earls. Kind of looked like he had a chance to score there. Just like he had a chance to pick up the first down earlier. He's just trying to shake and bake, do a little too much here. As on 2nd and goal, Xavier Smith is in coverage, and I don't even know why I said his name because the ball didn't go that way. Instead, it was a drop. So 3rd and goal now for USC. Looking for 6. Michigan's looking to hold him to 3. This one thrown to the end zone, and it's too tall for the tight end. And that is going to bring out the field goal team for USC. It's an excellent stand by Michigan here on the first possession of the game for the Trojans. The kick is up, and the kick is good. USC leads 3-0 here in the Big Ten championship game from Indianapolis. 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line of USC. Looking to punch this one in here. Here is Ahmad Hardy up the middle. Ahmad Hardy picks up 9 yards. 2 carries, 47 yards rushing for Ahmad Hardy. He is definitely the most explosive running back, I think, on this team. Isaac Brown is probably faster, but as far as who's more explosive, it's Ahmad Hardy. It's been a pretty good offensive game here. Michigan leading the time of possession battle early on. As we're looking to punch it in here and make this a 7-3 game against USC. 2nd down and 1 here for Michigan as Underwood's going to keep it and pick up the first down. Isaac Terrell shaking up on the field for USC. And that's going to bring up 1st and goal for Michigan. 1st down and goal. We're replacing the blitzing safety, and it's a touchdown to Isaac Brown. I saw the pressure coming off the edge. No linebacker following Isaac Brown into the flat. And we just threw it right behind the blitzing defensive back's head. And Isaac Brown's head was completely turned around. What an athletic play. That's why you do neck workouts. As our defense needs our help here. It's 1st and goal for USC. Inside the 10-yard line. They're looking to punch it in and take the lead here. 1st and goal. It's a run. It's a RPO. Jacoby Lane is in for the touchdown. USC reclaims the lead. I should know better than to jump up there and say it's going to be a run. I mean, this is a potent offense that has used the RPO game to perfection all season long. They do it again, and they take the lead here in Indianapolis. And now they're looking for some more points. 3rd and 7, we have to get off the field here. This is a big-time play upcoming here. They go 5 wide. Maiava in the pocket, looking for somebody. Maiava drifting back, throws to the flats, and it is caught by the running back, but Mason Curtis is there for the stop. Now we have the ball at the 41-yard line of USC. 3rd and 7 upcoming. Isaac Brown in there, running back Dorian Fleming wide open, and he's taken down a couple of yards shy. And I want to go for it here on 4th and 2. Kicking a 53-yard field goal, to me, just, it doesn't make much sense in this situation. I mean, I guess to tie the game up, I mean, you can never deny trying to tie the game up. But at the same time, at the 36-yard line with this amount of time left, you may have to kick a field goal anyway. I don't know. We got 3 tight ends in the game. Jordan Marshall's the running back. He's getting the carry. Jordan Marshall not going to get the first down. And that's the reason that it's been hard for me to give him more playing time, because he just hasn't been efficient when we've called his number in those types of moments. Here's a 56-yard field goal attempt upcoming for USC to make it a 13-7 game at the half, and it's good. So that'll take us to the second half now, where our defense needs our help again. This kind of feels like the Oklahoma and Oregon game all over again, and how it's played out. The defense kind of doing a good job. Here's an excellent run up the middle. A spin move inside the 5. Bryson Washington, 64 yards rushing. And it's goal to go for USC. Where the defense has played well, it's just the offense has not been able to do anything. As here is the give to Jordan up the middle. Touchdown USC. They extend their lead. And earlier when I called King Miller, King Jordan, I think I was thinking about Wayman Jordan, and I was also thinking about King Miller. That's how that mashup came to be. But USC, they came to play, and with a 20-7 lead, 21-7 lead after going for 2, we need a score. We need a score, and we need it in a hurry. 3rd and 1. Here's Jordan Marshall trying to get the first down, and again, we call on his number in those situations, and we just punted the ball. We do get it back, though. It is 3rd and 4 at the 33-yard line with a minute to go in the third quarter. Mario Stewart in motion. Here is Underwood stepping up in the pocket. Bryce Underwood's got space. Underwood, a juke move inside the 10. 1st and goal upcoming for Michigan. I'm also wondering what they win here. Do we potentially move our way into having a bye week? That would be huge for us to be able to have a bye week and not have to even play a first-round matchup. And right now, I mean, Isaac Brown has just not been efficient. 13 yards rushing. Ahmad Hardy's the guy that needs to get the ball in these situations. He's our number 1 running back. He's going to bust this one to the outside, and it's an excellent run by Hardy, untouched. Michigan makes it a 1-score game here in Indianapolis. As we're nearing the 4th quarter, we need our defense to make a stop here. And it's a long drive. And this is kind of one of those situations where I would have liked to have stepped in way before we got to this point so that maybe I could prevent them from going all the way down the field. 2nd and 4, though, to the running back they go. And he is going to have the first down. I think he was probably short, as Bryce Underwood only has 66 yards passing in the game. 1st down and 10 here. They're going to go RPO. Jacoby Lane picks up 8 yards. Also, losing this game is the difference between having a potential home playoff matchup and having to go on the road and play somebody. That is why this game is so important, though. I don't think you're talking about missing out on the playoffs, but with a loss, you're probably playing on the road. Here's Maiava in the pocket. Maiava stepping up. He's looking to throw, and it's incomplete. Here's a chip shot field goal here for USC to try and make this a 10-score game. I mean, a 2-score game, a 10-point lead, and it is good. So 24-14 the score. And we have the ball. We're on the move. 3rd and 8 at midfield. Nobody's even on Isaac Brown. This is going to be an easy touchdown. Why does the CPU do this? Just throw it to Isaac Brown. In stride. Touchdown, Michigan. I thought there for a second Underwood overthrew him. But Isaac Brown ran to the football, made the play. Why does the CPU do stupid stuff like that where they just put everybody on the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 10, by the way? 5 wide. This game is seriously flawed. But I have enjoyed doing this series, though. And that's why I'm not going to complain too much, because I have enjoyed doing this series here. 3 minutes to go. 24-21. We have the defense out on the field to try and make a historic play as Mason Curtis stops Maiava after a 4-yard pickup. Play clock winding down. Here is Maiava. Play action here. Here's a deep shot. What a pass to Parker Kingston. And they're going hurry up here. I mean, they could just run this down to the 2-minute warning, which I suspect they will. And then we're going to have to start thinking about using timeouts here. Maiava, I don't think he's going to snap the ball here with 2:08 remaining. I think he's taking this down to the 2-minute timeout. And that's what he's going to do. 2-minute timeout. 24-21 to score. We will begin using timeouts after this play right here. You have to, because if not, the game is going to run out and the game will be over. Huge defensive stand upcoming here for Michigan, hopefully. 1st and 10 underneath to the tight end. And he picks up 5 yards and loses the football. And it's recovered by USC. And we'll use our first timeout. I think he was down anyway, so I don't think it would have mattered. But what does matter is the fact that because they fell on it, and this isn't going to be reviewed, yeah, his right knee is down. It was actually recovered like a yard ahead of where he would have been down. So who knows if that yard is going to make a difference. And they are going to review it here. Now, what's weird about this, with them reviewing it, and I already called a timeout, hopefully they still register that I called a timeout and the clock doesn't start to run after they overturn this. Because it has been overturned, and they still will acknowledge that I called a timeout. That's one thing right there. Did the game even code that in? That got me a little bit worried there. Here's a give to the running back on 2nd and 5, and he'll be stood up at the line of scrimmage. What do you do right here if you're Michigan? I think that I want to have double coverage on both of their star receivers. It's 3rd and 5. Biggest play of the game. They're going to run it, and they're going to be taken down a couple of yards shy. And we didn't call a timeout on that second play. We allowed the clock to run, saving a timeout for us. Not sure if that was the right decision, as USC is going to attempt a 54-yard attempt, and it's no good. We're going to have the ball at the 37-yard line. And Chad Dennis is an excellent kicker. He doesn't have the greatest leg in the world, but we have plenty of time to work with. And with that one timeout, I'm thinking about scoring a touchdown. I'm not even thinking about tying this game up. So 1st and 10, it's Dorian Fleming underneath. Fleming! 1st down for Michigan to the 47-yard line. So 1st down and 10 here for Michigan. Underwood's going to step up. Underwood going to scramble and pick up a 1st down with his legs to the 40-yard line. We are where we want to be right now. 1st and 10 with 56 seconds to go. You could even think about potentially running the ball here in this situation. Underwood's going to step up again. Underwood's going to put his head down. He's going to have another 1st down with his legs to the 25-yard line. And at this point, has over 100 yards rushing on the game. 41 seconds remaining for Michigan. Here's Underwood. Not going to scramble this time. He dumps it off to Tommy McIntosh, who picks up 7 yards. We're still going hurry up here. 30 seconds remaining. Trying to get to the line of scrimmage. Trying to make a huge play. 26 seconds to go. It's Fleming. He's got it to the 11-yard line. We're going to spike it here. We have that timeout still. Clock is running 19 seconds. Spiked at 18 seconds. The game wants me to run the ball, but I'm not doing that. I want to try and win this game. Andrew Marsh not on the field. We have 2 tight ends out there. 18 seconds remaining. It's a play action. It's what in the world just happened? Oh my gosh. Underwood threw it, but he was behind the line of scrimmage. He was past the line of scrimmage. And so that's going to back us up now. 3rd and 14 upcoming. And will the clock start running is what I'm wondering. They should have forced us to call a timeout right there and had a 10-second runoff if we didn't. 3rd and 14, you just have to take care of the ball here with 13 seconds to go. We're going play action. Underwood is hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. Are you kidding me? Game over. Oh my gosh. What a devastating ending to this game. What a devastating episode. We beat Ohio State, but the gameplay got all jacked up, so it wasn't even as satisfying. And then now we lose the Big Ten championship game on one of the most bizarre plays you could ever see. Are you kidding me? 24-21, USC is going to win it, securing a first-round bye in the playoffs. That play right there should have been a one-read play where we're looking at one guy. If he's not open, you just throw it away. That's what that play should have been. Instead, I was trying to get out of the pocket. I was trying to dump it off to our running back, which I don't think was the worst move in the world, trying to throw it to your dump down. That wasn't the worst option, but we had just taken too long to do that. And by that time, pressure had gotten there and forced a bad pass. You watch it back. I'm looking at Dorian Fleming is who I'm looking at. Also here on 3rd and 14, why are we running play action? That's Chip Lindsey stuff, and that's why he's out of here. They went man to man here. If it wasn't going to be Dorian Fleming, maybe McIntosh would have been the guy I was looking at here. But Fleming was covered, linebackers across the middle. dumping this one down to Isaac Brown does nothing for us. And Guarnera, our center, was just destroyed here on that pass blocking attempt right there. Just destroyed. Look at him. Look at him. Just destroyed. And then we ran right into the teeth of that edge rusher there. Hit as he throws. Just what in the world just happened? Jack Angels on the sidelines like, just throw it away, throw it away. Oh my gosh. Absolutely sickening. 338 yards of offense for us, 323 for USC. So we kind of limited their high-powered passing attack. Jacoby Lane was really efficient in this game with 5 catches, 46 yards. And then Parker Kingston, 2 catches for 55 yards, 29 was his long. And then for us on offense, the interception by Underwood, you know, we could have tied this game up, went to overtime. He did have 98 yards rushing, which is really good. Ahmad Hardy had 70 yards. Jordan Marshall just was not efficient in this game here today. Tommy McIntosh, 4 catches, 37 yards. And then Andrew Marsh only getting 1 catch in this game is just not going to allow you to win games. We did see 2 receiving touchdowns by Isaac Brown. Just a heartbreaking game. Justin Scott with a sack. Brandon Hillman had an interception in this game. And I wish we would have just had an opportunity to give that to our kicker right there and go to overtime. Instead, we lose the Big Ten championship game. We'll see how that affects us as far as the selection committee for the college football playoff. I don't think that they would leave us out, but it's just hard to know in this game. As we're going to find out now, we are advancing to the next week here. We'll find out about Heisman winners, as well as we also see we get the commitment of 3-star quarterback Josh Yang from Michigan, as Bryce Keaton is down to his final 3, the 4-star running back from Ohio. We are 9th in the ratings, in the polls now, so I don't think we would have really dropped off that much. We should still be a playoff team. We're probably just now going to be playing on the road as opposed to at home. We'll see what they think here. As we are going to be the 9 seed, we're going to be going to Durham, North Carolina to take on Duke. The winner of that game will go and play the number 1 team, Clemson. I wish we would have gotten a rematch against Oklahoma. That's just not how it worked out. Texas Tech pretty much has their own bye with a game against South Alabama. RBT would be pleased with that right there. But yeah, just kind of heartbreaking. As Bryce Keaton is going to go play football for Ohio State. He chose the wrong school. As Rocco Beck is your Heisman winner. 41 touchdowns, 4,184 yards passing, 63% completion percentage. An excellent year for Rocco Beck. And there it is officially. We're playing against Duke in the college football playoff on the road. So, that was the difference. The difference was, are we going to be playing at home or are we going to be playing on the road? I think this is a favorable matchup for us. I think that Duke is a solid team overall, especially in this game, because I don't know if it's their playbook or what, but the way that Duke has been coded into this game, they're just really, really good year in and year out. Jalen Rayner is their quarterback. Of course, if you guys watched the Mr. Hurricane Arkansas State series, he had Jalen Rayner in his first season with Arkansas State. Their top running back, Nate Shepard, is injured. So they're going to have to rely on redshirt freshman Cole Denson, who's only a 73 overall. Hudson Clement was also in the Mr. Hurricane Arkansas State series, so that's pretty interesting. Quayshawn Brown is a really solid receiver, and then Jaden Moore and Eric Smith. Young, maybe future stars for Duke. Looking at their offensive line, left guard, center, really solid. And then their top tackle, at right tackle, Alfonso Peters, only a 70 overall, so he's not really a top tackle. He's injured, so freshman Leo Mickens, 63 overall, will be starting at right tackle for them. Wesley Williams, 89 overall, really talented edge rusher for them. And then at linebacker, it's not that great of a group, but the secondary, more specifically their corners, are really solid with Colton Hood and Jacob Finley. And then Kamari Robinson's also really talented as well. Duke simulates really well. I have to imagine that it's probably their playbook that does so well for them. So this is going to be a tough matchup. On the road, winner will play the number 1 team in Rocco Beck. He is a first-team All-American. We'll see if we had any All-Americans on our team. We do have TJ Metcalf as a second-team All-American, and then we do not have any freshman All-Americans. So only one guy, TJ Metcalf. And that's probably because he led us in interceptions and had a really good season overall. Bryce Underwood, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions on 2,400 yards passing. Ahmad Hardy, easily the number 1 running back. And Jordan Marshall had a solid season overall for us. He was efficient inside the 10-yard line. But, man, when we needed him the most, he kind of just wasn't there. I don't know. Just really weird. And he's also got a playing style deal breaker. So he may not even be back. Who knows what this team is going to look like here. Tommy McIntosh has slowly kind of turned into our number 1 option, with Andrew Marsh being quiet in some games and then popping off in other games. It's kind of been what it's looked like. And then as far as getting after the quarterback, our edge rushers have just been non-existent. Cameron Brandt, and then we also had an injury here to Edok Pai. But it's been our defensive tackles that have generated most of the pass rush. TJ Metcalf, 6 interceptions, and that's why he's a second-team All-American. We'll look more in depth at Duke's stats at the beginning of the next episode before we take them on. But it's early National Signing Day. It's also time to look at hiring some coordinators as well. So we'll look at that real quick. Mike Locksley as a potential offensive coordinator. How about Eric Morris? Alex Golesh at USF. I think that'd be an interesting option for sure. But TCU is even looking at bringing him in as a head coach, so I'm not too sure. I'm definitely interested in Mike Locksley. I think that with the pipeline in Ohio, I am definitely interested in offering him to be our new offensive coordinator, not head coach. Jack Angell's going nowhere. And as far as defensive coordinator, you have Greg Schiano, who was at Ohio State for some time. He's a pretty solid coach overall, has a base 4-3 defense. And I think that's who I'm going to offer here. Greg Schiano is going to be the guy I'm going to offer. So Mike Locksley, Greg Schiano, they've been head coaches before. We're going to offer them. They may hurt us as far as coach prestige goes, but if that's what's going to happen, then that's what's going to happen. We're going to offer both of them. It's also early National Signing Day, so we'll take a look at the depth traits of the guys that we brought in. Kyle Fredrickson is a impact development tight end. Major President, the number 1 recruit in the country. Only an impact. He's going to Oklahoma, though. He's not coming to Michigan. George Luter, elite development. This guy is somebody to get excited about. He's going to be so good. Elite development for Casey Heyman as well. I mean, Trayvon Rowe, star development. We've brought in some stars here early. Bryce Harvey, impact. Tavares Hurley is a star development safety. I thought he had the potential to be elite with that speed and size archetype. I mean, I'm excited about Tavares Hurley. He's going to play early. Joey Pepper, normal development. Earl Bars, 4-star center with star development. Marco Rawls with normal. Dom Brewski with impact. I think that he's probably more exciting to me than Major President. And then looking at Manny Bragg, normal development for him. Kyle Joseph with impact. Man, Manny Bragg having normal development is bad. That's just atrocious. Dom Adai with elite development at defensive tackle. Ben Shaw with normal. With this guy being elite development, I'm surprised it doesn't pop up there at Gem. Evan Brady, an elite development corner. So that's 3 elite development corners we're going to have on roster next season. Paul Walters, impact. Freddie Westbrook with star. That's exciting. Reggie Raymond, elite development. I wish we would have went after this guy a little bit stronger than we did because he looks really, really good. He's going to be good for Alabama. Normal for Zach Singer. Jared Wenton with impact. He's going to Notre Dame. We don't know about Damian Wingo yet. He's the last high school guy we're going after. And then with Josh Yang, normal development. Bryce Keaton, normal development. All right, that is going to do it for this episode. Like I said throughout the episode, let me know how you guys want to see these college football playoff games shape up. Because do you guys want to see me do play the moments, or would you guys want to see me do 1 game per episode? Let me know what you guys think. I'll try my best here. And maybe, just maybe, we could have a rematch with USC in the semifinals and maybe a rematch against Oklahoma in the national championship game. Like I said, let me know what kind of format you guys want me to go with moving forward. I'll listen to the feedback. And for the last time in this episode, I'll say thank you guys all for the support that you guys have shown on this series. I mean, when I post something and within hours, people were commenting, telling me how much they like the series, telling me to keep going. It is super encouraging, and I appreciate every kind word that somebody has said on the comments of these videos, and it encourages me to continue going. I hope you guys had an excellent Christmas. I hope you guys are going to have an excellent New Year as we all look forward to the goals we're making for 2027 or 2026. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited for college football 27 when we got a long way to go before we're in 2027. That's going to do it for this episode. I appreciate you guys all. Have a good one. See ya.